Live.
Okay, I figured out how to get it
Brilliant.
that way so it can see us better.
So smart.
Okay. Okay. And that way it shows up better on the YouTubes.
On the YouTubes. Not used to being in this chair. But I didn't feel like moving that chair around.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I hope you might be more comfy. We're both wearing crazy patterns today. Yours is on the shirt. Mine's means. I was about to say means.
Means it's on my pants. Feel a little better?
Hi, whoever is coming into the live. River Valley Shelter Live. We need a Saturday Night Live tagline. Hello and welcome to River Valley Shelter Live.
Yep.
What did Chappelle say? I'm on Saturday Night Live and you're not. I'm on. No, it was. She's. I'm on television and you're not. Something like that.
Sure.
Something like that. Who knows?
Just nod and agree.
She's like,
Yeah. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Sure. I'll just say people are joining. Hi,
yeah,
people.
just as people are joining. Hi. Hello. Welcome to the side of the internet. It's extremely unhinged. I was gonna say untrimmed.
That's what makes it so unhinged.
Hello, everybody.
Hi,
How's
people.
everyone's Friday? Do you want to describe your week as a color or a food? We had to do that in a training last week. It was really entertaining. Describe your week as a color or a food.
A chopped salad from a fusion restaurant that doesn't know what they're doing.
Oh, that
It's been a
sounds
crazy week.
very confusing. Some very bad. Hello, Maggie.
Hello.
Oh, Mandy's here too.
Hi, Mandy.
She's gonna be super tan tonight for our little party we're going to.
Oh. She taking a trip to the sun?
No, she's a self tanner.
Oh. What does that say?
Hello, my loves.
Hi.
Hello.
Just a smidge too far for me to be able to read.
Sorry. We need binoculars.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh.
Mandy, we need to invest in opera glasses so we can just like
Yes.
switch and like go. Okay, I'm trying to think. My week has been like very, very busy.
Yes.
Food, like very, very busy. Like they think they know what they're doing, trying to be fancy food. Gee, yes, done. Okay, there we go.
Perfect.
Snaps.
Tori will be able to see the chat again.
But it's just like I feel like all this week, like I've gotten a lot done. I've felt very productive. But it's
I've
just
gotten
like
lots of things done too, but it's just like chaos left and right. It's just like
stop.
Yeah.
Our website got updated.
Yay, Zoe! So smart. So
Yay to everybody because Zoe was losing her mind the entire time. But what's that person say? They blocked it.
If they blocked it, it's not worth reading.
I want to know though. Support. You support something about supporting.
They got blocked. It can't be anything good.
I can't read it because it's so far. Yeah, but sometimes it blocks weird stuff for no reason.
That one needed to be blocked. It's fine.
Okay. Okay.
It's a direction we don't need to go.
Alrighty. Yay! So nice. Okay, Brittany Broski update before we start on the book.
I saw on TikTok that she had something going on with Cole Sprouse, and they were like in a castle or something.
Oh, it was Brittany Broski's royal court. Once a month she does it.
Uh-huh.
And she, like, initiates them into her
Uh-huh.
royal court. Brittany Broski is my spirit animal through and through. This woman, yes, that was amazing. Yes, it was. Made him read fan fiction that she wrote about him at 19. And was my man's into it? Yes, he was. He was like, this is making me hot and bothered. And I was like, the moment we all wish we could have. The moment we all wish we could have with all these men that we wrote fan fiction about. Like, hello.
Now, is Cole Sprouse the one we like, or is Dylan Sprouse the one we like? Because one of them we don't like, right? Because of what happened with the Riverdale girl, and they were together, and it was a whole thing, and, like, she said he was abusive? Or is that the other one? Which one was on Riverdale?
I think that was Cole.
Oh, then I will restrain my excitement, because we might hate him.
I think Cole was the one who was on Riverdale.
Mm-hmm.
It might have been the other one. I don't know. Because I know this Cole Sprouse was in the new, like, Frankenstein, like, the...
I think Maggie said Dylan was Riverdale. Okay.
Okay,
Then
so
I
Cole was
will
the good one.
allow my excitement.
Because, Cole, I think, was in that Lisa Frankenstein movie, and it was freaking adorable.
Mm.
But I can't...
The trouble with the Mean Twins. I don't know.
The trouble with the Mean Twins. But he was like, all hot and bothered over it, and, like, she asked him, like, what his opinion was about running in the lobby, and, like, it was so good. It was so good. Any other updates? Oh, Call of Duty update.
Mm-hmm.
This was just for me, but it seems to always end up happening to circle back to Call of Duty. They brought back my man Soap, and I was very excited about it because they killed him.
Was he
off.
gone?
They killed him.
Oh.
And I was like, why?
How dare they?
My little Scottish man, why'd you do that?
Hello, ladies. Hello. Hi.
I just
What
got
was him?
IMD.
My bad, guys.
No, she said I was wrong. It was Cole.
Oh! No! I'm sorry, Zoe. You can't be excited about it anymore.
Never mind. Redacted. Take it out. Cut this out of the line. Your mind's erased. Bye. Sail off.
Yep. Like that Men in Black thing, the memory flasher.
Oh, I wish I had that throughout my life. I would just, everybody. If you know me, no you don't. That would be nice for, like, trying to get more money from people, though.
Yeah.
Oh, you said no? Click. What about your opinion now? Still no? Click. Ooh, that one was a yes. Okay.
Perfect. Mandy shared the live. Okay, yay.
I miss you guys.
That was very sweet.
We get a rose. A
Said
rose.
Rose.
A rose.
Wow.
Thank you. That's so sweet.
Hi.
Okay, I think that's all my updates. Like, it's been crazy. Had a good meeting with Housing Authority.
Yes.
We got to play, well, Tori and Mandy, and the intern and our transportation advocate mainly got to play with puppies. I got to play with
You
puppies.
could have played, but you decided to stay back here and keep talking endlessly to a potential intern.
And I was working.
You could have said, I need to go play with puppies. Talk to you later.
But she seemed really nice, and I don't want to be like,
really nice.
I don't want to be like, puppies are more important than you. Sorry.
I am still, like, not quite able to fully process that it's, like, one of my choir babies that was in middle school when I interned is now wanting to intern here.
But we're gonna see what that is.
Okay.
As a reminder, because Tori keeps having, like, or one of us has to go off, we are working shelter, so we are currently having to answer hotlines and stuff like that.
And all our things are broken, so it's a real hassle.
Give us money.
Yeah.
Give us
Please.
money, please.
Money,
please. All the money. All the money. Okay. Books. I have a very special thing for you on this first question, and
Oh,
I hope you enjoy it. But
okay, I don't remember what the first question was.
You go ahead and read it off. For everybody's reminder, we read Healing Trauma. This is a
Yes.
book club. No, it doesn't seem like it, but it is. It's a book club.
We do occasionally talk about books here. Sometimes even the one we read that month.
Yep. We're going to be talking about Healing Trauma by Dr. Peter Levine. No
Yes.
relation to Adam Levine.
Maybe. Do we know that to be true?
I don't know. But I don't know a lot of people who would want to be related to Adam Levine.
Well, wanting to be related to someone doesn't mean you're not. Unclear.
Dr. Peter Levine gets in here. I am, in fact. I put that in all of my interesting facts when I have Dr.
That is my child.
Oh, no. He needs to talk to Adam Levine about healing some trauma then.
Hey, Zoe.
We forgot Tori forgot her child. Dang.
We found him. He's been found. He doesn't stand up as well as Bumview did. His pieces don't stay. He's also just too tall.
Is that the same for real life?
Yes.
Okay, who is this?
This is Subin from
Oh.
TXT.
Did you get him? Or
Yes,
you sent a
I got
message?
him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Y'all
We also
were
have
lacking.
Bumview here.
Y'all were lacking. Y'all didn't send Tori.
Yeah. I had to go buy my own cereal. Not our buddies.
Happy Pride Month. It's fine. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay.
You read that first question.
First question. Before reading this book, did you have any preconceived notions about self-help books? Were you nervous about reading this book? What did you think you would be able to... Did you think that you would be able to gain anything from this book?
Are you ready?
I
Okay.
guess.
So I had always looked at self-help books as like dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Because anytime you go out anywhere, it's like chicken noodle soup for the soul.
Yeah.
And like, that just looks so dumb.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, there's no way, like, I'm going to get anything from chicken noodle soup for the soul. But speaking of them, I got a little factoid for you.
Oh, boy.
About chicken noodle soup for the soul.
The book we did not read.
No, but like, it's just like the amount of
Uh-huh.
self-help books, like, it ties into the question. I promise I'm going to make it tie in. But like,
All right. I can't let you go on this journey.
but they have been around since 1993.
Okay.
This publication, and since then they've like let out 321 books.
Who needs that much chicken soup?
Exactly, that's a lot of chicken soup. But my point with this question, because there are so many self-help books out there, like there are so many from so many different ways, and like for a lot of people, I know that was like the first kind of self-help book that I was exposed to was chicken noodle soup. And it looked dumb to me. It always looked dumb.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm sure they have great things in there. I'm sure there are like wonderful things, and I'm sure there are people who have read some sort of chicken noodle soup for the soul, got that really hearty broth, the chicken, the noodles, put it all together, and they were great. They were healed. But I just didn't get that. Like I never got that vibe from them. But with that in mind, I did write down some of my favorite titles from the 321 books they have published since 2023.
Okay, let's hear it.
Chicken Noodle Soup for the Teenage Soul Part 3.
Oh.
Chicken Noodle Soup for the Teenage Soul on Tough Stuff. Chicken Noodle
What
Soup
were the other ones about?
I don't know. Chicken Noodle Soup for horse lovers soul. Chicken Noodle Soup for in menopause.
For in menopause.
Chicken Noodle
Just
Soup for the
rolls right
soul.
off the tongue.
What I learned from the cat. There's also chicken noodle soup for what I learned from the dog.
Oh.
And last but not least, chicken noodle soup for the soul. Say goodbye to back pain. So you read chicken noodle soup for the soul, your back pain's gone. I didn't say that, they did.
I'm not sure they can be making those kind of medical claims.
But they did. That is one hearty chicken noodle soup. But that was my little side tangent. I thought that was enjoyable because I was like, how many of those books are there? And the fact that there's over 300. as of 2023. Like, and like the fact that they're like, part 3, part 59. It's ridiculous. And like some of them, they just kind of gave up and like kind of changed the title, and it's like, teenage.
Teenage soup.
Yeah. My lifeless teenage robot.
So relatable.
It's fine. But anyway, yeah, that's why I never thought a self-help book would be helpful.
Yeah, I never really read self-help books because they always just seem like they're trying to push like their ideology or trying to like sell you on like, oh, read this book and then buy my supplement plan or
pyramid scheme.
Yeah,
anybody, it's fine.
It's like these don't seem really like actually helpful.
And then like I also am very heavily into true crime, and when I tell you there are so many dudes who like run cults who made self-help books, and it's like,
of course they have.
Put your foot in a blender and you will be magically healed. Yay! Yeah. And it's like, I'm okay, thank you.
Yeah. Don't need your advice, thank you. Also, just don't like being told what to do in general. So being told what to do by a book is just like, you don't have any authority over me.
Strong, independent women.
Yes.
Are we sure Mandy already paid for her tickets. Mandy paid for her tickets tonight, so like, Mandy, if you're still in here, you're gonna regret I'm sorry. This is me, like, there's alcohol at this event, can you imagine? Mandy, if they do not play Havana Unana, this is not Havana Nights, you need to tell.
I'm ready.
Mandy just ignored. She's like, no. No, don't look at them.
Y'all can have my drink. Something.
Tickets? Oh! They have mocktails too. If we need to be responsible. What I'm kind of nervous about is they're going to be like, speech for United Way. And I'm going to be like, hi.
Well, you can just say, Mandy, do it. She's the director.
I can do it. I don't mind. But I'm going to be like,
if you're taking those drink tickets, then they're going to be like, no,
catch me pre-cocktail.
It'll be like, Zoe, just stop.
Zoe, stop.
We can't, in fact, rage against the machine here.
I get up. Oh no, we're supposed to be talking about a book.
We talked about some books.
We talked about
just
some.
Not the correct ones.
Correct ones. You told me to be hyped. I went and got a really big energy drink.
I'm proud of you. I'm so glad you're hyped. Because my brain, 10 million miles in every other direction.
Same. There's been so much
it's
going
like,
on.
The ADHD's really rolling this week. Okay. Pretending we're organized people. Question number 2. In the healing trauma not having anything to do with chicken soup series. How familiar were you with trauma and the effects it has on the body before reading this book? Were you familiar with somatic therapy?
So I don't know how to answer this. Before working here, like, no, not at all.
Same. It's like doing this job. I know a lot about trauma and the effect it has on the body now.
Yeah.
Just because of what we do. But like before this, it's just like I no idea.
Yeah, and
also don't think I'd heard of somatic therapy until I got here.
No, and
even that was really not even until TikTok.
Yeah. And then I took a training through, because I also interned at the Ozark Rape Crisis Center here, and they like broke down all of the different ways that trauma could affect a person, and like the importance of knowing how trauma affects a person, because I mean we'll get into it a little bit later, but trauma affects so many people in so many different ways, and like it's just so interesting how a traumatic event can affect you one way and then affect me a different way and affect somebody else a different way. So it was very interesting.
All right, question 3, moving on while we still have focus. What is trauma? What effects does trauma have on the mind and body?
I mean, I think
Yeah.
trauma is like how your
Mm-hmm.
body reacts to
Mm-hmm.
like something that is upsetting to you in some
Yeah.
way, and it can be something very minor, or it can be something like very traumatic, like getting in a car accident.
Well, if you're getting traumatized, then it is inherently traumatic.
It is traumatic, but like for some people, like you can.
But
like,
larger scale.
Yeah, on a larger scale, like living through. I mean, there are so many people who like a really good example, like even people. Like during 9/11, like so many people who were like in New York, very traumatized. Like people were losing people that they knew and like had to work with, but like even people like here, remember that day vividly. Even though they were not like there in New York seeing it happen.
I remember the day 9/11 happened.
I was a little too young. My mom found out she was pregnant with my little brother on 9/11, so
oh my
like
God.
she like has that like tied in like with it and.
Like the 9/11 or just a 9/11?
The 9/11. She found out she was pregnant with my little brother. So like she got up that morning and like was like doing her whole thing. So, and like it was scary anyway for my mom to like find out she was pregnant because she didn't think she could. And then like having to see that, it was just like and she like remembers every detail. But yeah. Like very traumatic day for her, but like there are a ton of people who are like that. Like my fiance's mom, like she can remember 9/11 that day because it was Robbie's first day at daycare. So it's just like all of these things going on. But my whole thing is to say like it can be something like, oh, like my dog died to like very bad stuff like that.
Yeah. Dr. Levine says in the book that when he's asked to define trauma, he says we become traumatized when our ability to respond to a perceived threat is in some way overwhelmed. Did you have that written down as well?
No.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't remember. 8 and 9 I have stuff written down for it, but.
So we're just going to tie question 4 in. What kind of events can cause trauma? Because we were already talking about that already. It's like trauma can be sort of any event where you perceive a threat, where you perceive that you are in danger, basically.
Robbie, like, I hope he doesn't mind me telling this story, because it, like, but Robbie does not like bugs at all, and his mom blames herself for that, because they lived in a house, I'm kidding, blames herself for that, because they lived in a house that was, like, infested with scorpions.
Oh my
so, like,
God.
Yes, infested. So, like, it didn't, they always told him because he was so little, he couldn't, like, distinguish between bugs. So, anytime he saw a bug, they told him to, like, come and find them. So now, like, anytime he sees a bug, he, like, freaks out because it was like, oh, okay, I don't know if this is gonna, like, seriously hurt me or not.
Yeah.
But then, so there's that. Like, that seems like a very little thing in the scheme of things, but for him, that was, like, super traumatic, and he was really scared. And then Tory and I were talking about how I attended a protest back in the day, and somebody came up and were very threatening, and they had some pew-pews, and it was really, it scared me a lot, and it took a really, like there was, like, the fact that that was happening and, like, that was present was, like, a lot. Do I still go to things like that? Yes, but I am much more on guard because of that happening.
Yeah.
And, like, that is an effect of, like, being traumatized by it. I now go, if I'm going to go to something like that, and I have, like, everything packed. I keep, like, an ID on me. I keep, like, my name written somewhere in case something happens. And, like, I mean, there are so many people who I think could say that, like, based off what's happening.
I mean, just look at the whole man versus bear debate. It's like all these women that are explaining to the men in their life, it's like, these are all the things I have to do to keep myself safe on a daily basis that you don't even think about or even realize I am doing. Like looking in the back of my car, looking under the car, looking at what cars are around me when I park. It's like all these things. It's like we're all aware. We've all probably had something happen or know someone who something happened to where it's like we are all at some level almost traumatized by men.
Yeah. I honestly, not, like, now that I mean, I haven't, like, thoroughly looked for it, but, like, every post I've seen, it's, like, women are always choosing bear. Always bear. It's always bear. And I think that is so telling.
Yeah.
So telling. And, like, I cannot tell you, Tori, like, I think we've said this so many times with our job that we do. We try to limit ourselves so we don't get burnout one way or another. And with that trend, I had to, like, I did not get on TikTok for a really long time because it was like, I am seeing stuff that is making me so upset and so sad. Yeah. And it was just, like, emotionally draining. But, like, it was just, like, the bear wouldn't go tell his friends about it. Like, people wouldn't, people would believe me when I said I got attacked by a bear and like all of these different things. So it was just like, oh my god. But I don't know. I mean, something like that, I mean, could also be traumatizing. Like when you see stuff like that, that could remind you of your trauma. So it's just like all of these different things. But yeah.
All right. Moving on. Question number 5. In what ways would domestic violence cause someone trauma?
So many ways. So many ways.
All the ways.
I mean, every person's experience is different when it comes to domestic violence, but coming out from it and having to heal from it is one of the hardest parts. I think on average, it's 8. Have they moved it up to 8 times now when it comes to leaving?
Last I heard was 7.
7? Okay. But it takes
an average of 7 times for someone to like leave their abusive partner.
Yeah. And thinking about just like how hard that is, and like whatever's going on where they have to go back, like that in and
that's even assuming it's like a romantic partner that you can leave and not like a family member. If you're like a minor child, it's like what option do you have?
Yeah, you just have to keep living through it until somebody, hopefully, the right person sees it, reports it, and does all that. But there are so many different ways. Like you were getting emotionally, like mentally, like, and a lot of the times we see people getting like financially abused with those things, and like the most common thing that people think about when it comes to DV is like the physical violence of it. I mean,
which is particularly traumatizing because in the obvious like life-threatening way, but it's like all the other ways as well. It's like it has you so on edge, and so you can't trust anything this person is doing anymore, and it's all coming from someone who claims to love you and that you love.
Yeah. And then a form of domestic violence that's really been on like the uptake lately has been like reproductive coercion and stuff like that, and like people having to go through that. Like I can only imagine what those poor individuals are having to go through. Like I hate it for them, and just like the struggles they're having to, because like I mean, for the majority of people, pregnancy is supposed to be like a joyful thing, and like having to.
Related thought. Finish your thought and then remind me I have this thought.
Yeah. But I mean, what I was saying was for a lot of people, I mean, pregnancy is a really joyful thing. It's something to celebrate, and like I mean, people are weird when it comes to pregnancy anyway. They like want to come up and touch your stomach and do all of that. So like I can only imagine like having to deal with something like that because it's a DV or a sexual assault related issue. Yeah. And having to either force yourself to be happy during it or just like be just emotionally distraught anytime anybody came up to you because of what was being forced upon you. So like just everything with DV is so traumatizing. But your thought?
Going off of reproductive coercion, which is inherently sexual assault because there's not consent happening there. I saw a TikTok, I can't remember the exact number off the top of my head, but I think it said 1 in 6 women have been raped by their husband. And that 90% of them are still with that partner.
Yeah. Which is awful.
Yeah.
But, I mean, luckily with that, because it used to be your husband can't do that, your wife can't do that, your partner can't do that.
I mean, hell, still today there's 14 states that still have a loophole saying that it's legal to rape your wife.
Yeah, but it's getting better. It's getting better. I mean, it's horrible that
it's not great.
It's not great, but it's because Arkansas doesn't have the loophole, right? Or do we? Who knows? It's Arkansas.
I don't think we do.
But used to, and
we've got enough other problems. So.
Yeah, we've got enough other problems, but that used to, it was just been like, oh, whatever. And I mean, sadly for those 14 people, 14 states, like, I mean, that's awful, but hopefully they have people there who are doing work to get that changed. But yeah.
What question were we on? In domestic violence. Okay. Yeah. Any more thoughts on that one, Zoe? No. All right. Question 6. Why is visiting one's trauma different from reliving it? I'll say what he said in the book. Dr. Levine says in the book that trauma happens primarily on an instinctive level. The memories we have of overwhelming events are stored as fragmentary experiences in our bodies, not in the rational parts of our brain. So, that was the sentence right after, and I'm not entirely sure how that answers the question, Peter. But, sorry. I typed that out as I was trying to eat my lunch, and it's just like, I don't know what I was talking about. You can see the ADHD got me there.
Well, I mean, I think the way I interpreted that was you can talk about trauma, and that's like the visiting part of it, but actually reliving it and having to process it is like processing it is like reliving it, because I mean you can't process what you've been through and get over that in a way that's healthy without like having to relive it. And like for a lot of people, reliving it is just as traumatic as like having to experience it for the first time.
Yeah.
I mean, we took a trauma-informed workshop, and the presenter talked about how your brain literally rewires itself to like when that trauma happens. So you're literally having to go in and like rewire your brain again when it's rewired itself. So reliving it and having to go through it again is very hard for a lot of people.
What was he talking about?
We read the book, we promise.
Okay. I think he's basically getting at the same point you just said, so good job, Zoe. Oh no.
Oh, they were almost kissing.
You can see a little more funky there. Alright. Question 7. Levine teaches us that anyone dealing with trauma has a valuable story to tell, and that by telling our stories, we can catalyze the return of hope, dignity, and wholeness. Is this something that you think survivors of domestic violence would feel if they were to read this book? Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Correct.
Very short and sweet answer. Yes.
Moving on. Question 8. How does somatic therapy help to heal trauma?
For anybody who doesn't know what somatic therapy is, in case they didn't read the book or if they're just joining, I mean, you're developing a deep awareness, I can't see because of light, deep awareness of the body and how the physical experience is connected with the emotional or psychological experience that you have due to the trauma. And this treatment encourages intentional movements as a person uses mindfulness to better understand where pain is and what the source of it could be. Because, I mean, you can't work through something if you don't know where it's coming from. And some people, they know right off the bat, this is what happened to me, but some people, they have to work through it. They have to, like, go through different things to be able to get through it. And I thought, I mean, we're going to get more into the exercises a little bit later, but I thought they were all very interesting.
Yeah. I mean, basically the same answer. So, moving on. What did you think of the exercises presented in this book, Zoe? What exercises did you find most helpful?
I really liked. We're gonna talk about it. I printed out pages of the book.
Ooh.
I really liked. We talk about this one in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
I printed out book pages for that. I really liked the chair exercise.
Mm-hmm.
And for anybody who didn't read the book, the chair exercise is where you sit in a chair with your feet on the ground or the floor. It doesn't matter if you are 20 stories up. Place your hands on your lower belly and sense the energy coming up from the ground and into that area through your feet and legs.
River Valley Shelter. I can't confirm or deny anyone's presence here, but I can take a message and pass it on if we do have anyone here by that name. Okay. Is there a number they can call you back at? Okay. If we've got anyone here by that name, we'll pass the message on. All right, Mike. They're not here, so. Sometimes people just call about people that don't exist, so it's super fun.
It happens.
But we can't confirm or deny, so you have to
It's always a
go
fun
through
game.
all the motions.
But I really like that because I do a lot of grounding if I'm really upset. But that one was interesting because I mean most of the time, people all the time on the internet say like go touch grass. I like to go touch grass when I'm upset. Go outside.
It's like how many times have you walked in here and I'm just laying on the ground?
Like grounding is a very good. We both use it in different ways. I think it is like very.
I just wasn't aware I was doing it. I was just like, I need to lay on the ground before I start crying.
But it's really helpful. It's a really, really good technique. But I thought some of them I thought I got more from than others. But that happens depending on what you've experienced as a person. You might find another one is more helpful, and I might think it's not at all. But
I liked the grounding one as well. I liked the one where you go through and like tap to figure out like your literal body limits, because it's just like I heard there was a study about ADHD, and people with ADHD apparently aren't as aware of like where the ends of their body are, and so that's why you'll see people that have ADHD like making big sweeps around corners and things, and like constantly running into stuff because it's like you have no idea of like what's happening peripherally, and it's like that is me. I needed this. So I like that one. I like the one where you snuggle your dog. That was great.
That one was great.
I like the one where you think about your resources, because it's like, that is really important to like helping you work on your healing. Yes. I like that. All right. Next. Why is grounding and centering yourself important to somatic therapy exercises? We basically answered that already. Exercise 3 was about building your internal and external resources. What are some of the resources you listed? Why are resources important to the practices in this book?
I printed out what exercise 3 was for us. So to do exercise 3, which is building your resources, you take a piece of paper and or you can take a page from your journal if you have one, and you divide it vertically, which I did horizontally. I don't think it matters.
I have mine still.
But you would divide it like this. There's a person outside.
Of course there is.
Tory, that noise that just came out of her, oh my gosh. But you do it so you divide your paper up so you have 2 columns, and in one column you begin a list of your external resources, and in the other you list your internal resources. So over time you can continue to add to each list, and if you find that you're lacking resources you wish you had, such as people and physical exercise, you might decide to join a Tai Chi class or find a walking buddy to help you move out of isolation into both more activity and connectedness. And as we move into the second group of exercises, you will discover how to more fully embody the resources from your lists and bring you comfort and safety. And then he also went on to say that if you have difficulty beginning your list, take some time to recall what got you through your trauma. How did you cope, and what helped you most to get to the place you are now? What inner strengths did you bring to bear in your struggle to go on with your life? And if you suffered early abuse, who or what helped you to survive your childhood trauma? Take a few moments to imagine and feel possible resources, even if they seem distant, vague, or weak. Little by little, you will notice emergent resources that have been lost, find new ones, and strengthen those that are weak.
Yes.
Yep. I was just reading off the thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, as far as things that I wrote down for the internal side, I put that I am smart.
Yes, you are, queen.
I'm kind.
Yes.
I'm funny.
Yes.
Creative. Passionate. Caring. Determined. Compassionate. Open-minded. I feel like the internal was a lot harder because it's like about yourself.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's so hard
and you're
to
always your biggest critic.
Yeah. But then external, I had family, friends, Kennedy, and all the many farm animals. By the way, Mom got the latest Maine Coon kitten today. As we were setting up.
Two.
Yes. There's Benjamin and now there's Brienne. Like Brienne of Tarth from Game of Thrones. Because she's a big lady.
She's my favorite. Oh, what does Brienne look like?
I'll show you a picture while we're done. So all the animals, nature, workouts, music, K-pop and fandom things, the comfort shows I love, the routine of like practicing all my language stuff. I'm learning French, so it's like that routine.
Omelette du fromage.
Perfect.
Oui, oui.
Parfait. Puzzles, crochet and crafts. Taylor Swift is my favorite external resource. Reading and cooking and good food. And there was more probably that I could have thought of, but I just sort of did it in like 5 minutes.
That's a very good list. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
You forgot to say you were pretty because you feel you were.
I thought I did.
Did you say you were pretty?
I don't know. Maybe.
You like every time we're having that day, I'm like, Tori, you're smart, you're kind, you're funny, and you're pretty.
Because I've trained my friends well.
I was waiting on her to be like, I'm pretty.
I mean, it is a great gift. Would that be an external or an internal one, though?
It can be both. You can be pretty on the inside and out, which you are.
All right, Zoe, let's hear some resources.
Internally, I think that I am very compassionate. I'm kind. I am smart, even though sometimes I feel a little dumb. I am funny. I'm very...
Don't forget pretty.
So pretty. Inside and out. I am very inclusive. I like to think that I have a very diverse, like, knowledge set. Because of this work and then because of things that I am into. Robbie tells me all the time I'm a little fact box.
You know that Ologies podcast with NPR? Where she, like, goes into the different, like, random fields of study every episode and does, today we're talking about scientists who study moss, and we're talking about scientists who study dead people, and all the things. My mom says all the time that girl reminds her of me, because I'm always just, like, spitting out random fun facts.
That would be so much fun.
Right?
Wait, we went to the off topic. We took Addie, because that weekend I was off a couple weeks ago. I was visiting my best friends. It was the weekend after Mother's Day, because her mom, her work made her work on Mother's Day. And I was so mad. Because her mom is the sweetest person ever. Literal angel. And we were taking Addie through all the zoo, and they had tigers, and like I was sitting there. Oh, did you know tigers? If they're a white tiger, they're a product of incest, and they're like. And because of that incest, they're all cross-eyed. They just have differing levels of cross-eyedness. So, like, even if they don't look cross-eyed, they are cross-eyed. And, like, awesome. But, like, other than that, back to the internal stuff. I'm artistic.
And autistic.
It's fine. And then externally, my friends, my family, my animals, even though one of them tries to assassinate me on the daily. Our new cat Matilda's very, like, ooh, with everything. I really, really like documentaries, so anything that I can learn documentary-wise, I like watching, so I can't think of any more.
Good list, Zoe.
I didn't bring my list with me, so I'm sorry.
We'll forgive you.
Yep.
Ah! Oh no! Boned you! Let's just stay up there.
The violence that she used to set him down. Stay up there! Okay, Tori.
Just always trying to run away. Like that silly workout show he has now. Just running away every single time. It's like, why did you sign up for this?
Are you serious? Just run?
Is that
the point of it?
I don't know if it's like a separate show in and of itself, because I've not actually like watched it. I've only seen clips on TikTok. Or if it's like through TXT and it's one of their new like variety show things. But he's doing this show where he's doing different workouts every episode, and they've got like different trainers. And every single time he tries to run away the entire episode. Because he's like, I don't want to work out. I don't want to do this.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Me every time I go to the gym. I don't want to do this. Me running away as I'm trying to run.
And there was one point where he was like hiking with this guy. And he just like turns and hightails it back down the trail and hides behind a rock. And the guy has to go grab him.
Yeah. Can you just message me?
Oh.
Okay, Carrie.
Right.
We're just gonna wait on you.
Yeah. But he's hiding behind a rock, and the guy goes and like grabs him by the backpack and just lifts him up and is just carrying him like those dogs that they have in backpacks.
You know the fanfic and people who were like,
this is going on my AO3 right now. I'll see if I can find the videos and send it to you later.
Speaking of trauma, this is kind of related, but not related at all.
Okay.
Did you read fan fiction growing up? Like, and there was always like, sorry, my English isn't good, and it would be like literally the best fan fiction ever. And then like, sorry, all my family died in a horrible car accident. I saw one the other day. Somebody posted like a screenshot of it on TikTok. This is the author's best friend. She died horribly in a car accident. Blah, blah, blah. But I am here after many months of mourning. And it was like I was like, girl, okay. Do I think that actually happened? No. But it's okay.
I think people have just like bought into this is something we do, so.
My friend died horribly.
Yeah.
Here I am to continue this Miguel Herrera.
Because nothing else matters.
I mean, I get it. I'd be like, yes, queen, right from the grave.
I mean, everyone mourns in different ways. So, do your
She
thing.
would have wanted me to write this super steamy Deadpool/Spider-Man fanfiction.
Nothing else matters. What question were we on?
Up, Siri, play Up in the Nasty Girl. Up in the Nasty Girl. Up in the Nasty Girl. Okay.
Alright, I think it's question 12. Describe how you experience different emotions, such as anxiety, sadness, joy, or fear in your body.
Did that mean us personally?
Yes.
Like, okay, so...
I know when I get feeling really anxious, my heart starts beating really fast.
Mm-hmm.
I start feeling really tight in my chest, and like there's a pit in my stomach.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I'm just like, I need to lay on the ground. I need to go get out of whatever this situation is. I need to go take a breath. I need to do something else and get my mind off this. like it just an intense tightness.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm in like a vice or something.
Yeah.
Joy, I would say, is lightness.
What we have a I'm not revealing anything, but we have a client here who they describe their different joys and colors. It's very cute. Do you have any colors that you tie with your emotions?
I don't see colors in my emotions in the very literal sense that they say that they do.
Yeah, which is like, we're not licensed to diagnose, but I'm just like,
But I know people do that.
Yeah.
And I know some people, like, when they listen to music, they, like, see colors.
I would love that. I'd be like...
I would literally never get anything done.
No.
I wouldn't be able to
just be
function.
sitting there like...
Because I, like, have to listen to music while I'm working. Otherwise, I cannot think. Unless I have to think really hard, in which case I need the music to stop so all my brain power can go to the thinking.
I usually have a podcast on when I'm working on something, like, really well. And, like, the girls will come in and they'll be like, who's getting murdered? What is happening? But it's fine.
So if I were, like, seeing colors when I listen to music, it's like I'd never get anything done. I'd be so distracted by the colors all the time. Have we talked about this before? Are you one of those people where when you close your eyes and if I were to say, like, close your eyes and think of an apple, you see an apple? I don't see an apple.
I can see an apple.
It's like I know what an apple looks like, but I don't see things when it's like, close your eyes and imagine and think. It's like I'm not seeing a literal image, but I know, like, what it is.
No, I can see it.
That's so interesting. Brains are so weird.
I can see it, like, and I can hear it. Like, I can hear the voice. Like, if you're like, Zoe, what's your mom sound like? I can hear my mom and, like, all of that. But maybe that's because I'm more, like, artistically inclined. Because, like, you do an amazing job on our board and stuff. But, like, you yourself, like, say, like, you were not an artist. But, I am... I'm making a Trixie Mattel into a shrew for my Pride Month. Our game is so slay. Okay. Anyway, how do you feel when you're sad, or do you want me to go?
I think sadness is just like an overwhelming heaviness, whereas like the anxiety is tight, sad is heavy. And joy is light. There's just a lightness. Fear, I feel like, is really tied into anxiety for me because I get really anxious about, like, what's going to happen. Yeah. Or am I anxious because I'm afraid? I don't know. But it's also tightness. How about you, Zoe?
So I'm medicated for my anxiety.
That must be nice.
I am medicated. But I know used to when I would get, like, my anxiety was horrible. Like, I would be, like, it would be, like, the only thing I would think about. And it would be days. I'd be sitting there, like, oop, I forgot to put in my timesheet, Mindy's gonna fire me. And it's, like, crazy, like, out of pocket. Like, I know that's not gonna happen. But, like, I would just keep going back to it. Like, oop, I said something wrong. And even though Tori didn't seem mad, I think she was mad at me because I'm stupid and like blah, 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 blah. So my anxiety was literally awful. I literally the most like just crushing feeling. And I felt so just like it felt like you said, like in a vice. And I when I feel like anxiety and if like something happens and I don't have because I like take it as needed. If I don't have that, I like to get under my weighted blanket because even though I have that heavy feeling, that having that weighted blanket makes me feel better or feeling like I'm in a really tight space.
I wonder if that's because of the autism.
It's probably because of the autism.
Like the sensory stuff?
So I really like to be confined in a tight space when I am feeling that way. With sadness, like if that's a weird emotion for me. Because I think mostly because of what I've been through trauma-wise. Like I do not like to be sad. And so when I
mean, who likes to be sad?
No, but like My kind of sad is like I feel really blank, like, and it is just kind of like, okay, I'm gonna go on autopilot for a little bit. And if I am like mixing all of that together, like with stress and like fear, like I like will stay that way, like on autopilot for a little bit, and I have like a hard time expressing that emotion. Until it comes out, and then I will either like cry or I'm just like angry. It just gets to that point where I'm angry. So I really don't. I try to avoid getting sad. Joy. I'm an absolute crackhead. Like, who doesn't love like a silly, goofy guy? But I don't know. I feel really light. I like laugh a lot. I have a good time. Just kind of like really carefree. And like fear. I am one of those. I don't know if we asked a question like this. But everybody knows I have an obsession with possums. When possums get scared, do they move? Nope, they play dead. I am one of those people in a fight, flight, or freeze scenario. I'm freezing and playing dead like a possum. I cannot move.
Did we ask a question like that?
I don't know. Are you a fight, flight, or freeze?
I think it very much depends on the situation.
Yeah.
Because I think if there's too many unknowns, I freeze. That way I can like assess what's going on. Yeah. But if it's like a situation where I am like comfortable and I'm aware of the situation, then I will fight people.
Yeah. I gotta freeze though. Like, there's a little possum on TikTok that I absolutely love. His name is Dennis, so they like keep a death counter because Dennis panics a lot and plays dead. I don't want to know how many times I've had a death counter on me, but I don't think we have a question about that, Tori.
I don't think we do. That would have been a good one. What was I thinking? What was I thinking? Alright, next question. Or do you have any more emotions you'd like to describe how they feel in your body?
No.
Okay. Dr. Levine discusses how humans of all ages seek the comfort of others when we are fearful or stressed. How would the dynamics of domestic violence make it more difficult for survivors to find safety, comfort, and healing?
I mean, your brain gets hardwired when you are in a domestic violence situation that you can't trust anybody, because that's what an abuser tells you, is that you can't trust anybody and no one's gonna believe you, and a whole plethora of things that make it so hard for you to want to trust somebody. And then just like the situation of being in a domestic violence situation, I mean, that's supposed to be somebody who loves you.
Yeah. Like when we did our resources a minute ago, it's like both of our first things in external was my family, my friends, and it's like if you are being abused by someone who is your family, whether that's romantically or like your blood family, it's like they are no longer able to be a source of comfort for you. And then such a big part of domestic violence is isolation. Yeah. So you don't have access to your other family or your friends.
And that's made so much harder when you add like kids or pets into the mix, because I mean, a lot of people like will stay because they don't have the resources, because they've been cut off to take care of those kids or pets. Yeah. But it just is one of those things. I mean, people like us do the work to show people like it is okay to reach out. Like, there are going to be people who are willing to help you, but it's just that you get all of your trust taken away from you, so it's extremely hard for people to want to reach out.
Next question. What were your thoughts on the sections about sexuality and spirituality after the exercises in the book? Those threw me for a loop. I was like,
what is this?
What?
What is this?
I thought we were gonna like get through the exercises and then that'd be the end, and it's just like, wait, why are we talking about Oedipus?
Yeah.
How did we get here?
Does chicken noodle soup for the soul talk about sex? Who knows? Somebody
tells us. One. Chicken noodle soup for Oedipus. I thought they were interesting. I just like wasn't expecting it. I'm like, what does this have to do with what we were talking about.
Mm-hmm. It was very weird. I mean, I agree with you on that one. It was just like, oh, okay.
Why do we always play this song and dance?
Oh. Match the puzzle piece. Match the puzzle piece. Go.
Are we still real? Go. Thank you. Okay. Next.
How can you help someone who has experienced trauma? How is the process different when helping children?
So when you're helping someone who has experienced trauma, I think what he talked about in the book was you need to understand trauma yourself. That way you can help them through that experience and help them reach the end of that fight-flight experience. Because so much of the somatic stuff here is like, he's talking about how animals like instinctually like enter that stage and then they just sort of shake it off and they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like they move on. But it's like we as people like get in that fight or flight and then we're just expected to sort of move on without like finishing out that cycle.
Yeah.
And so it's like you have to sort of help people ground themselves, help them center themselves, help them just sort of get all the way through that experience and be like, you're okay, you're safe. And then actually like reinforce that safety.
Mm-hmm.
And then with children, there was something else you were supposed to do with children, but it might just be like handling it, talking about it differently because they are wee lads and lasses.
Yeah. Just the work that we do, we're not going to talk to a child how we would an adult.
Yeah.
And that's a whole other layer to it too, is that they might not realize what they've gone through is bad.
Yeah.
Because they're so young. You see that a lot with kids who've been through like DV and sexual assault situations. They might not realize what they've been through as a trauma until much later in their life, and they get exposed to other things. So if like at any point, it's going to be so hard to talk to kids when you are dealing with helping them cope with trauma. But if it gets to that point, that's a whole other layer of like them having to figure it out on their own.
Yeah.
And seeing that, there are so many people, like you see it all the time of like, oh, like I didn't realize what was happening to me was bad until like much later. And like the thought of it, like having to go through that like by themselves and figuring that out is so traumatizing and just like so horrifying to think about. But luckily, we post things out there, so hopefully, and other organizations are too, trying to keep that from happening. But
all right. Subin! Stop being such a giant! So off kilter. Do you think you're more prepared to help yourself or those in your life with any potentially traumatic experiences in the future after reading this book?
Definitely got some good exercises to share with clients and stuff. It's definitely going to be a book that I would recommend if somebody wanted to read something.
Yeah.
And explain like what, because that's always something that's nice to have if you have a personal experience, and like of course you have to keep up that like level of that ethical boundary, but like being able to be like, I read this book and like I thought it was very helpful.
There's some interesting exercises here if you aren't able to access therapy or something. It's like here is some exercises you can do. How has Peter Levine changed your perception of trauma? Was reading this book a healing experience for you?
I think he gave a better understanding of how to talk to about trauma to clients in my what I gained from it. Do I think it was healing for me? No.
Yeah, I don't feel like wildly healed.
Yeah.
But I think the concept is interesting.
Yeah, for sure. It's something like exercises that we didn't know about or like didn't know, because like I know that even ability wise, Tory and I, we can lay on the floor and we can ground ourselves if we need to, but like if somebody doesn't have ability to lay on the floor and get back up on themselves and be like, oh, go do the grounding exercise in the chair and like feel the earth's energy flow through you.
Yeah.
Like so it's just cool things like that that I think are very helpful. And like that's something we do anyway with our jobs. We're always looking for different resources and different things that are going to help clients. I mean, because that is what we are here for, is to help them. And not every client it's not a one-size-fits-all thing when you're dealing with DV or trauma for that matter. So having more resources under our belts is very helpful and useful.
And like he says that somatic therapy isn't like a replacement for talk therapy, but there are, unfortunately, a lot of people who
you can't afford,
who can't afford it and who aren't interested in therapy just on its face. They're like, oh, I don't need therapy. That's not for me. A lot of people still have this stigma around it. And so this could be something like these exercises are, okay, you're not interested in that. Have you thought about how you feel when this is happening? Here are some exercises that can help you kind of move through that feeling, some exercises for your toolbox to help you cope with these things. So I liked it from that perspective.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and going to therapy is such a big step for so many people. And like you said, the stigma of it. I mean, especially if you're in like a smaller town, there aren't a lot of therapists in Russell at all. There's not a lot of counselors. And then there's like, I know for a lot of people, like when they're in this sort of situation where it's like, oh, okay, I'm in Russell, I want to go to therapy. If your family's around here, what if they say something? They're not supposed to, but like things happen. So like there's always that fear of like, oh, what if Miss Mary Sue decides to, and like, then there's like the whole cost of it. And like there are counselors who do have like that cost scale, but like it's just all of these hoops and stuff you have to go through to go to therapy. And then there's, what if you don't like your therapist, and then you like have to go back and do it all over again. And like it's, I mean, like finding a medication that works for you if you have something going on. Sometimes you have to go through a bunch of different hoops before you find one that like you can drop and like do what you need to with it. And like luckily there are things like BetterHelp and stuff like that do make things a little bit more cheap for people who are wanting to go out and find therapists. But like even then it's hard because it's like, oh, when am I gonna go find the time to go talk with my online therapist and that sort of thing. So, I mean, having books like this, I definitely, if you find one that's good and actually has exercises and isn't chicken noodle soup for the teenage girl, part 3, I think you'd be good.
I agree. All right. Next to last question. What are some common misconceptions and barriers to healing from trauma, and how can we overcome them? Well, the cost is one of them.
Yeah.
Therapy is expensive.
Very expensive. And ridiculously so.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that comes with a lot of things when it comes to people getting aid in general. And then the stigma of, like, oh, if I go, like, people are going to view me as, like, there's something wrong with me. And a lot of people, I mean, don't like to go get medicated. People don't like going to therapy because they don't want to see as, like, something wrong. And especially if that comes with, because I mean, I'm sure that a lot of people who go through domestic violence could probably get diagnosed with some sort of PTSD, if not CPTSD, which is
what
like
was the statistic? 80%.
It was a pretty high number. And that doesn't mean that the other 20 didn't experience bad enough trauma. It's just like their brains were able to process it in a way that was less wired than the other people. Brains are weird.
I haven't like deeply looked into that study, so who knows who they were even talking to. Maybe they were also traumatized and just didn't like ever go get diagnosed.
So it was just like all of these different factors that come with going and getting help. And then like there's the whole thing of like people aren't gonna understand me and like, well, yes, every person's
and the
situation.
intersectionality of it too. Like if say you've got someone who's black in this area who's wanting therapy, it's like, how many black counselors do we have?
None.
How many do we have in the state?
Not a lot.
Yeah.
My therapist happens to be an African American woman, and like she is one of the like very few. But around here, there's none.
And what about like Hispanic therapist?
Oh, there's none
or
in the area either.
Asian or any other demographic.
Every therapist in our area, at least, is white.
Yeah.
It's a white female, and then there's one white guy. And
it's like, I know therapists go through training to like be culturally responsive, but it's like that's different than having that lived experience.
Yeah. Because of course, like if you were traumatized by like racism, like as white people, like we understand like the baseline of racism when it comes to like being a person of color, but like we do not have to deal with things that people of color have to deal with on a daily basis, and like there are intersectionalities.
Empathize or sympathize? Which one's which? One's different.
Empathy
is where you haven't experienced it, but like can put yourself in that shoes. Okay, gotcha. I can never remember.
We got somebody up to the door.
Of course we do.
But I mean, we can have empathy for that person, and we can like, because sympathy is just being like, oh, I feel bad for you.
I thought sympathy was the one where it's like you've experienced that thing.
No, it's empathy. No?
I feel like now I'm confused.
I'm confused.
I thought you said. I thought the difference was that one of them is like, I have also experienced this thing. I can put myself in your shoes, and then one is, oh, I feel bad for you.
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I can't remember.
I might be making this up entirely.
But whatever the case is, like a lot of people feel like because of their unique, everybody's unique and that they can have a totally different experience, and they think nobody's ever gonna have ever experienced what they've been through, and that nobody is ever gonna understand because of what they went through. So that can be really hard to reach out, and just the idea of people finding out that you're going through and you're doing therapy and you're getting help and you're doing things like this can be super scary. But yeah, I have no idea. We need to look that up.
I think empathy is the one where you like can put yourself in their shoes.
I think so. I think that sounds right.
And sympathy is just like, I feel bad for you.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds okay. That's because you were like, one of them is like where you've actually experienced it. And I was like, I don't think either of those are that.
Okay. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm very tired.
There's a song for we'll have a whole lesson over it this summer. I also found a really cute song about boundaries. That's a boundary.
Is that one of the ones you sent me?
I think so.
Okay.
Maybe. I think it is. Because I just ended up, I was like, I'm gonna do both. It's fine. They're both really cute. That's a boundary. Last question.
Last one. How can we create a culture of trauma-informed care? What steps can we take to reduce stigma and improve support for those dealing with trauma?
So for those of you who don't know what trauma-informed care is, I mean, if you are like us, I mean, we try to provide trauma-informed care to everybody at our shelter. Like we're recognizing that people all have unique experiences and like that they might react in certain ways, and that if they are, like, that's okay. So if we have a client, like for an example, like they don't like to meet in our office or they're not talking because they're getting triggered by like a pencil sharpener or like a TV in a room, like we can try to cope with that, like by let's go outside so we're away from this really loud noise and stuff like that. So like by taking those extra steps, you're being trauma informed, because there are a lot of people who just be like, I don't care that you're triggered by this, but as advocates and like by being trauma informed, you try to take the steps to like go that extra mile for somebody.
Understanding what trauma is and how it affects people, and then being conscientious of it.
But I mean, there are, trauma and like going to therapy and like seeking help with trauma. I think just that the breaking that down and making it seem like it's okay to go and get help. I mean, we do that all the time with what we're doing because I mean, domestic violence has such a stigma behind it, and like with every aspect of it. But making it seem like you are a safe place or a safe person or a safe organization is so important when you're dealing with people with trauma, no matter what kind of trauma it is. Because if you do not seem safe and you are not presenting yourself as a safe person, you are only helping to keep that stigma in place. You are not helping take it down. And if you're not willing to change, and if you're not willing to improve your organization or yourself, you're not in the right job field. I mean, you're really not, because I mean, the world's always constantly changing. People are always going through different types of trauma. My earring fell out, sorry. So
how dare you, sorry. I can't believe you would do that on our lives.
But you gotta be willing to improve yourself and those around you.
Yeah. I concur.
I concur.
I mean, you covered all of it. I don't know what else I could say.
What are we reading next month?
This month, we are reading, because it is next month now.
Yeah, I don't know why I want to do that every time. Next month's book. Or do you already have it?
We are reading, the edge of my chair go, Full Disclosure by Cameron Garrett. Is that their name? Yes. Cameron Garrett. It's good so far. I read the first chapter. Highlighted a lot of things. I think I read somewhere that she is, but we haven't like got to that point yet.
But happy Pride Month. That's why we're reading this book.
Yes.
I can read the back. So you can see if you would like to join in on our book club this month.
You should.
Simone is starting over at a new school. She's making real friends, making a name for herself as student director of Rent, and making a play for Miles, the guy who makes her melt every time he walks into a room. The last thing she wants is for a word to get out that she's HIV positive, because last time things got ugly. As Simone and Miles start going out for real, shy kisses escalating into much more, she feels uneasy. She knows that she has to tell him that she's positive, especially if sex is a possibility, but she's terrified of how he'll react. Then she finds an anonymous note in her locker, one that threatens to expose her if she doesn't break up with Miles. Simone's first instinct is to protect her secret at all costs, but as she gains a deeper understanding of the prejudice and fear in her community, she begins to wonder if the only way to rise above is to face the haters head on.
Yay. I mean, even the first chapter, it's like I learned so much about HIV. It's like, oh, okay. It's gonna be a good book. I'm excited, guys.
Yeah, me too.
And it's YA, so it'll be a more exciting read than self-help book. Not that healing trauma wasn't a super fun time, especially when he took the wild left turn into Oedipus. But
let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me.
We're gonna be so much fun at this party tonight.
We're just gonna be like, no.
It's like, why did I bring these people?
Hello, I'm Mandy Gills. These are my monkeys, and welcome to my circus.
That's the whole thing. It's just for the shelter.
Ooh, ooh, ah, ah, bing, bang, walla, bing, bang.
Perfect.
It's okay.
All right. Is that everything?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Next time we have book club, Jen will be home from the army in BTS. Ooh. How exciting.
Daddy's home, girl. No. What's the song? You know that song on TikTok, right? Girl, you got me waiting. Tori shows up at the airport. Baby, I'm here.
They're doing in Korea a whole event, like, because
are you serious?
on the 13th, it's like BTS's anniversary.
Yeah.
And so he's getting out, like, I don't know what officially day, but presumably in the few days before, because it was projected like between the 10th and the 15th. And they've announced the 13th he's going to be doing an event where he's going to be giving armies hugs or polite handshakes.
Tori's there. My husband is back for more. Mandy, Tori needs off so she can go see her husband.
I've got to get to Korea.
It'd be fun.
Yeah.
I'd go to Korea with you. I'd go for the food though. I'd just be like, yeah, fun at your BTS. Bye.
Yeah. All right. Field trip.
Field trip.
I'm sure we can get funding for that.
Mandy's probably not. She's gonna be like, never again. Ever tonight. She's gonna be like, no.
It'll be fun. See y'all at Havana Nights.
Havana.
All right. Anything else to say before we go?
Nope.
All right. Bye.
Bye.